Hey guys, it's Tim, and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited, as we're here with the WWE TLC 2018 review and recap. This was a alright show. I mean, there was nothing to really... No, I can't say that. I was going to say there's nothing to complain about, but there's not nothing. There were some things we could have complained about, and we'll talk about all that. I am taking the show live tonight. Nick had some issues where he couldn't make it in time. Perfectly fine. Also, I do want to apologize for the lack of news over the weekend. My daughter is sick. My son was sick yesterday. My daughter is currently sick right now. So if you do hear any coughing in the background, that is coming from her. So that is why we've kind of had the slow news coming out over the weekend. Really since Friday. Late Fridays when they started getting sick. Yesterday they were really sick. And they're still kind of sick today. But nonetheless, we're here to talk about TLC. After we do run down TLC, I do want to hear from you guys. Call into the show towards the end at 559-475-8473. Want to hear what you guys thought of TLC after we do run everything down. So let's kick it off with the kickoff show. First match we did get was Buddy Murphy defending the Cruiserweight Championship against one Cedric Alexander. I thought this was a really good match that really just didn't get its just desserts. It should have been on the main card. Maybe should have been that second match on the main card. I honestly just feel like they had too many matches. I felt like they had too many matches on this show. And that's why they had to relegate 2 matches to the pre-show. So, this Cruiserweight title match began with some chain wrestling between Buddy Murphy and Cedric Alexander. Alexander and Murphy each scored headlock takedowns on each other. Alexander got Murphy out of the ring with a head scissors takedown. Murphy gets back into the ring and nailed a dropkick on Alexander. A little bit later on, Murphy keeps Alexander down while applying a chin lock. Alexander fights back to get free and shoves Murphy into the corner. Murphy nails Alexander with another knee strike before climbing to the top rope. At one point, Murphy gets Alexander to the ring apron and he follows him out there. Alexander fights back and he nails Murphy with a Death Valley driver on the apron. Alexander hits Murphy with a lumbar check for a near fall. Murphy rolls out of the ring and Alexander follows. Alexander gets Murphy back into the ring and sends Murphy into the corner. Murphy then hits Alexander with a knee, followed by the Murphy's Law for the 3 count to retain the Cruiserweight Championship. Like I said, I thought this match was a really good match. Just wasn't given really the time and everything else that it really should have. Just looking at the chat here. A lot of you guys are asking about tomorrow night's Monday Night Raw. What is Vince going to do? The rumor is that many backstage believe that he's going to announce a new draft. And then we're going to be shaking some things up with a quote-unquote another superstar shakeup. Well, hopefully that entices you enough to watch Raw tomorrow night, because it does have me a little interested to see who can move to Raw and who can move to SmackDown. Excuse me. Jonathan Alexander says, can someone give me a list of all the winners? Well, if you stay and listen to the show, we'll run everything down and tell you who won everything. Trey says, Cedric Alexander, in my opinion, is the best Michinoku driver in all of WWE. You might be right. I know Natty tries to do it and sometimes dumps the girls on their head. So, moving forward, though, we did have the ladder match between Elias and Bobby Lashley, and they never really told us what these rules were. One would assume you climb the ladder, grab the guitar, and you can use the guitar. But obviously that was not the case. It was just climb the ladder, grab the guitar, you win, and then it's free game, I guess. So Elias was out there in the ring doing his usual Elias little strumming of the guitar, trying to sing a song before he was interrupted by Lio Rush and the almighty Bobby Lashley. The match begins with Lashley getting Elias in a headlock. Elias gets free and Lashley drops him with a shoulder tackle. Lashley follows that up by dropping Elias with a flatliner. Lashley goes out of the ring to grab a ladder. Elias recovers and drop kicks the ladder into Lashley. Elias then traps Lashley under the ladder while attacking his arm. At one point, Lio Rush tried to get involved. Elias climbed up a ladder and Rush got into the ring. Lashley tried to attack and distract Elias, and Elias nailed him with a knee strike. Elias trapped Lashley in the corner while landing some strikes. A little bit later in the match, Lashley set up a ladder and he started climbing it, but Elias stops stopped him, throwing a ladder and hitting him in the back. Elias trapped Lashley in the corner yet again while attacking him with a ladder. Elias followed that up by dropping Lashley with a clothesline. Lashley recovered and nailed Elias with an overhead release suplex onto the ladder. Lashley trapped Elias behind a ladder while landing a few strikes. Lashley was trying to set up another ladder, and Elias would finally get his composure and fight back, nailing Lashley with a powerbomb onto a ladder in the corner. Elias would climb the ladder, and Rush would try to interfere. Elias would knock Rush off the ladder and grab the guitar, seemingly winning the match. But you would think, okay, Elias won the match. He can use the guitar. But is Lashley really just going to stand there and say, all right, I'm posting up, hit me? No. Him and Lio Rush are going to run in, distract, steal the guitar, and then crack Elias over the back with the guitar. And Rush would then hit a frog splash on Elias. And that's when Elias would get hit with the guitar after that. So, I mean, I didn't like it. I did like it. I don't know. The match was all right. Kristen McDowell with a $5 Super Chat donation. Tim, there is a rumor going around that at Royal Rumble, Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte instead of WrestleMania. Is that true or false? Here's the thing. That does seem true. That does seem like what they could be doing. Nobody knows 100% for sure what the exact plan is. As of right now, it does look like Becky and Ronda at Mania. Plans change so often that who knows? They may have a plan in place already, but we don't know. I know that there's some rumors going around that was put out there tonight with no credible sources attached to it. So some of this you can take as credible, some of this you can take as just hearsay, people making stuff up, trying to guess and hoping that they're correct. So we'll see. We'll see. I got sent some stuff tonight and I was like, yeah, I don't really think that's the case. I think they're just guessing, trying to be whatever. So going forward, Travis Ray says Leo Frog Splash was awesome. I think Leo Rush has one of the better frog splashes. Like, he does that D'Lo Brown frog splash where he like really pulls it in and it extends. I like his frog splash a lot. So as we go forward, we do go to the main card, and we do get the first match on the main card was the finals of the Mixed Match Challenge. And I did think that this was cool as an opener. One thing that I did like was R-Truth coming out first. I think R-Truth in his entrance is a perfect opener. Is a perfect way to come out there, start singing, hype up the crowd, and just get them blazing. I guess you could say, get them hot. Sean Cook says, where's Nick? Nick, unfortunately, was not able to make it tonight. Had some things come up, stuck in traffic, heavy weather where he's at right now, so just unable to get home in time to be available. But I like I was saying, you know, Mixed Match Challenge finals were the first match, and I think that with R-Truth coming out and hyping up that crowd, I loved it. Crowd was into it. They were into him and Carmella coming out there and dancing and rapping down to the match, or down to the ring. I think R-Truth should open every pay-per-view. Maybe on the pre-show or something, but I think R-Truth hyping up the crowd like that was great. Nicholas with the $2 Super Chat donation says, Nards. So the match begins. Now remember, before I start this, the winners of the Mixed Match Challenge earn the number 30 spot in their Royal Rumble and an all expenses paid vacation to anywhere in the world they want to go. Keep in mind, anywhere in the world they want to go. Remember that, anywhere. So with that, the match starts off with Jinder Mahal and R-Truth. R-Truth takes him down with a headlock. R-Truth and Mahal. R-Truth gets up and hits Mahal with a backdrop and then a shoulder tackle. R-Truth then takes Mahal down with a crossbody block. R-Truth catches Mahal with a few roll-ups for near falls. Alicia Fox will tag in, making Carmella have to get into the match. R-Truth and Carmella then double-teamed the opposition. They tried to do a dance break, and the Singh brothers would interfere and try to do their own dance break. This would then lead to R-Truth taking them both out, throwing them out of the ring. Fox then attacked Carmella from behind before landing a neckbreaker for a near fall. Fox then holds Carmella down while applying a chin lock. Carmella got free and takes down Fox with what they called a Mela Go Round. And they were like, it's the Mela Go Round. And I think it was Michael Cole was like, wait, the what? He's like, the Mela Go Round. And I was like, I don't know if I've ever heard it called that before. I may have. It sounded familiar, but I don't know if I've ever actually heard it called that before. So Fox did recover, and she nailed Carmella with a Northern Light suplex. I think her and Jason Jordan had two of the best Northern Light suplexes in all of WWE. I loved, they just both of them bridged it perfectly. They bridged their Northern Lights perfectly. Carmella got free, and both women go down after simultaneous clotheslines. R-Truth tags in, and Mahal comes in as well. Truth takes him down with the head scissors. R-Truth then nails Mahal with a heel kick to the face. Fox tags in as Truth hits Mahal with a flying forearm strike. Fox starts talking trash to R-Truth, and R-Truth steals her hat. R-Truth starts doing a little dance or whatever. He's like, I'm the captain now. It was kind of the comedy thing you would expect from R-Truth and Alicia Fox. Mahal then interferes. R-Truth takes him out of the ring. Carmella catches Fox in the code of silence. She taps immediately. Your Season 2 Mixed Match Challenge winners, R-Truth and Carmella. I think it was Charlie Caruso. No, Kayla Braxton. Kayla Braxton comes in after the match. And she's like, okay, so congratulations. You guys will start number 30 in the Royal Rumble. And also, where are you guys going on your vacation? We know you had to submit your location for your vacation before the match. And Carmella was like, wait, what? Wait, what? And Truth goes, don't worry, Mella. I got this. We're going somewhere great. And she goes, was it Paris? Rome? He's like, better. We're going to WWE headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut. And I go, what? No frickin' way. Like, what? I would have liked to see, Nick suggested this on a recent podcast. He goes, what they should do is have Carmella say that she wants to go to, like, Paris, for instance. Truth sets it all up. She's thinking, all right, we're going to Paris, France. I'm going to see the Eiffel Tower and all this. And then Truth takes her to frickin' Paris, Texas. That would have been a great television. But no, they're just going to dadgum. They're just going to dadgum Stamford, Connecticut. And I think it was cool. Michael Cole goes, you know, there's some good malls in Stamford. I think they'll like Connecticut. Luke Mice says, will there be a recap for Wrestle Kingdom 13? Yes. Not sure if it's going to go up immediately after Wrestle Kingdom. Not sure if it's going to go up the night at. I'm going to work out exactly when I can go live, because my kids are off of school that day. So I can't go live. Depending on what time the show ends, it'll depending on what time Wrestle Kingdom ends, will depict on when I can go live and do the recap. So we will be doing a Wrestle Kingdom recap for sure. Whether it's immediately after the show or the night of, like that Friday night, we'll let you guys know. So going forward, we had a triple threat match for the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships. I thought this was a great triple threat match. A little oversaturated, though, because we've seen all these teams face off against each other way too many times now. We need something new, but nonetheless, I did like this. Xavier Woods and Kofi were in for the New Day, and I think it was Michael Cole was like, you know, it's questionable that they didn't put Big E in this match when the championship title, when the titles are on the line. And Corey goes, yes, that is true, because Sheamus is in the best shape he's ever been in. And to be honest, a lot of people say that they're surprised that Sheamus can still go at the rate that he's going at all, or if at all. Sheamus has got a really messed up spine. He's dealing with spinal stenosis, and I've just heard things that, like, he shouldn't be able to go the way he goes. His spine and his back is that messed up. But nonetheless, he's having some of the better matches that he's ever had in his career in the WWE. So good for him, I guess. Match begins with Sheamus backing Kofi Kingston into a corner before letting him go free. Sheamus then takes Kingston down with a headlock. Sheamus gets up and he drops Kingston with a shoulder tackle. Sheamus reapplies the headlock to Kofi. Kofi recovers and nails Sheamus with a drop kick for a near fall. Xavier Woods would tag in and double team Sheamus, get another near fall. A brawl breaks out between all the teams in the match, and it spills to the outside. Jay goes for a dive, and Cesaro nails him with a European uppercut before he can dive through the ropes. Sheamus then hits Woods with an Irish curse for a near fall. Sheamus traps Woods in the ropes while landing cross-face strikes. Cesaro tags in, and they double-team Woods, with Sheamus tagging back in quickly and getting the near fall. Woods fights back, and Sheamus tags out of the match. Sheamus and Cesaro doing a lot of back-and-forth quick tags. The Bar then double-teamed Woods yet again before Sheamus stomped away on him. Sheamus applied a chin lock to weaken Woods. There was a lot of time in this match early when the New Day and the Usos were in the match. It was only 2 men allowed in the match at all times. You couldn't do 3. And Corey Graves made a good point here. He goes, the Usos need to get into this match, or they can lose their opportunity at becoming champions without ever even getting in the match. I liked them saying that. It led you to almost believe they were foreshadowing the Usos winning when they didn't. But I liked Corey saying that. He's like, if the Usos don't do something to tag themselves in, excuse me, if the Usos don't do something to tag themselves in, they can lose without ever even getting a chance. And I liked that. So at one point, Cesaro tagged in and applied a modified chin lock to a downed Xavier Woods. Xavier got free and nailed Woods with an honor roll. Sheamus tagged back in and knocked the Usos off the apron. Sheamus would go after Woods, get him on the top rope, and Woods would climb to the top rope, and Sheamus would follow him up there. Woods then crotched Sheamus before knocking him to the mat below with a drop kick. Cesaro and Kingston got tagged in, and Kingston quickly starts cleaning house against the Bar. Cesaro blocked a Trouble in Paradise attempt, and Jimmy Uso finally tags into the match. Cesaro goes for a suplex, and Jimmy hits Kingston with a top rope crossbody for a near fall. Jay tags in, and the Usos nail Kingston with a double enziguri. The Usos attack everybody in the match with super kicks galore. And I mean super kick party. Usos hit Kingston with a pop-up Samoan drop for a near fall. Woods and Jimmy then have a brawl all over the floor. Cesaro finally tags in as Jay hits Kofi with a top rope splash. Cesaro gets a near fall against Kofi. Cesaro goes for a big swing, catches Kofi in a sharpshooter, and this was great because Kofi's selling it like this is wrecking his back, like he is in the worst pain ever. Woods finally does break up the submission and nails Cesaro with a DDT. Sheamus gets into the match and knocks Woods out of the ring. Sheamus then goes for the brogue kick, and Kofi rolls him up before landing a double stomp. At one point, Kofi did go for the trust fall. He does a little dive off the top rope to the outside, but he spins in midair and falls backwards. And Corey Graves said it perfectly. When they showed the replay in slow motion, he goes, wow. And this isn't verbatim, but he says something along the lines of, wow, Kofi looks just in peace up there, just falling. And it's like, he's like, he just makes it look easy. The Woods finally got into the match, and he nailed Sheamus with a top rope elbow drop. Sheamus was almost 3/4 of the way across the ring. So this was a feat. He literally bounced off the ropes. He did the walk the rope spot, bounced off the ropes, gave himself the launch, and got it. Hit that elbow like it was nothing. Cesaro would get in and attack the Usos with European uppercuts. Kingston knocks Cesaro out of the ring, and he followed that up by taking everybody out with a dive. Woods then nailed Sheamus with an enziguri. Cesaro distracted Woods. Sheamus nailed the brogue kick. 1, 2, 3. There we go. The Bar still tag team champions. I really like this match. This was a great match. I thought that this match was good for the crowd. Because the thing here was, okay, so you had R-Truth come out, hype the crowd up, but then their match kind of just took the crowd down. But then this tag team match had enough. It wasn't like there was too many high spots to where it was like, oh, it's just a spot fest match. But you had the Usos and the New Day with their spots, and then you had the Bar with their brawling style, their hard-hitting action, and it all just worked perfectly. Before the next match begins, a Raw GM-elect Baron Corbin grabbed a microphone as he came out for his match. He addressed the complaints that had been levied against him as the general manager as of late. Corbin said that everybody should get used to it because he is about to become the real, permanent, full-time general manager. Heath Slater was out there to be the general, or to be the referee, my bad, to be the referee. And he told Heath, count to 10. When you count to 10, it means I win by forfeit. And so he starts counting. 1, 2, 3. I think he got to like 3 or 4 before Braun Strowman's music hits. And they're like, is Braun going to come out? Is Braun going to... Oh, there's Braun. And Braun comes out in a sling. So it's like, uh-oh. And Corey Graves goes, he's going to... I think it was Corey goes, he's going to come out here and try to fight Corbin with one hand, one arm. And so he comes down here and he grabs the microphone and he goes, hey, Corbin, you forgot something. This is a no disqualification match since it's TLC. That means I can have some help if I need, since I can't wrestle. He's like, I got somebody to help me. And then you see Apollo Crews, and you're like, wait, what? Apollo Crews versus Baron Corbin? Is that the match we're really going to get? What the heck? And then we see the Raw Tag Team Champions, Gable and Rude. And you're like, okay. And then all of a sudden, Finn shows up. And you're like, what is happening? And all these men have ladders, or chairs in their hands. Sorry, chairs. So they slide into the ring. Corbin's surrounded. Braun's on the apron, and Heath Slater looks right at Corbin, and he takes off his referee shirt, and he throws it at Corbin. Everybody takes turns hitting Corbin with steel chairs before he gets out of the ring. As Corbin's trying to run away, he's running up the ramp, basically, and Kurt Angle's music hits. Kurt Angle comes out with a steel chair of his own and waffles Corbin across the back multiple times, just beating the heck out of him before Corbin finally comes back down and gets into the ring. Everybody started hitting their moves on Corbin. He gets an angle slam, a coup de grace. Strowman then comes in, puts his foot on Corbin. 1, 2, 3, pins him. There we go. Baron Corbin, no longer Raw General Manager. And with this, the first official match has been made for the Royal Rumble, as Braun Strowman will challenge Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. They had to do what they had to do, to be honest. They had to do what they had to do. According to WrestleVotes on Twitter, Braun Strowman will not be cleared to compete until the Royal Rumble. He will be kept out of action. That is why on the upcoming house show loop, the Holiday Tour, John Cena will be wrestling the matches that Corbin was supposed to be wrestling. So, we'll see what happens. I mean, the Royal Rumble's what? The 27th of January? So about 5 weeks away. Maybe 6 if I do the math wrong. 5 or 6 weeks away. Corbin should be fine by then, but they're going to keep him out of action, according to WrestleVotes on Twitter, all the way up till. So I think that's a good idea. You don't want the elbow to get aggravated again and then him accidentally getting hurt right before this big title match, which we don't know what's going to happen there. Mark Brown in the chat says, do you see Kurt replacing Corbin? Maybe, since, Kurt was never really fired as a general manager. He was put on hiatus, told to take a vacation, and that Stephanie would reevaluate things. So we'll see what happens. I think they need to name somebody because, they can't have no authority figure unless Stephanie wants to come and be on TV every week. Travis Ray says, so Strowman's still recovering? Yeah, he's still recovering from his elbow surgery. So going forward, we had a tables match, Natalya versus Ruby Riot. Sean Cook, no, I'm not married. The match begins with Natalya nailing Riot with elbow strikes. Riot escapes Natalya's grasp and sends her into the ropes. Natalya recovered and the two exchange strikes in the corner. Riot dropped Natalya as she stomps away on her. Natalya knocks Riot out of the ring after landing a release German suplex. Natalya goes out of the ring as well to smash Riot's face into a table. The two then battle on the apron and Natalya tries suplexing Riot through a table. Liv Morgan would interfere and Natalya would spear her through the ropes. This spot looked bad. Like, good and bad at the same time. Because it just looked wicked. So Natalya speared through the ropes, went through the ropes, spearing Liv Morgan. Morgan flies off of the ring apron, crashes straight through the table, and I'm like, she could have hurt herself because the way she flew off of that ring apron, she could have crashed right into the announce tables. Like, it looked bad. This takes Liv Morgan out of the equation. Ruby Riott and Natalya start fighting on the opposite side of the ring now, and Sarah Logan tries to interfere. Natalya says, I'm not going to have any of this, and she scoop slams Sarah Logan through a table, basically now finally making it a singles match. One-on-one, no more interference. Natalya looked to powerbomb Riot through a table, and Riot got free. Natalya then throws Riot into the barricade. Riot brings the table into the ring, the one that had Jim Neidhart's face on it. At one point, she put Natty up against the table and said, your father, he's ashamed of you. And she grabs her and throws her into the ring steps, brings the table into the ring, puts it up into the corner. Natty gets back into the ring. Natty and Riot battle near the table, and Natalya catches Riot in a sharpshooter. Riot gets free after causing the table to fall on Natty. Riot sets up the table again in the ring, and Natty recovers. And Natty picks up Riot and nails her with an electric chair drop. Riot falls out of the ring, and Natalya follows her out there. Natty then grabs her own table from under the ring. This table had a big old picture of a Ruby Riot on it. I loved Michael Cole's comment. He goes, can't wait to see. I think it was Michael Cole. He goes, I can't wait to see Ruby Riot's reaction when she sees that she's on this table. So Natty goes into the ring again, and she grabs the Neidhart jacket, the one that her father wore, the one that she wore at SummerSlam. Natalya gets in the ring, and she starts beating on Ruby while she's wearing the jacket. Natty sets up the table in the corner. Natty tries putting her through it. Riot gets free, and she kicks Natty in the face. Riot places Natalya on the table before going to the top rope. Natty then crotches her on the top rope, grabs her in a powerbomb position, and basically powerbombs her through the table off the middle ropes. Natty comes out victorious, beating Ruby Riot in this tables match. I thought for what it was okay. Nothing to complain about. We had 3 people go through tables, so hey, if you like that kind of thing, this wasn't a bad match. Wasn't that bad. Mark Brown says that line was priceless. Which one, though? The one about, I wonder what she's going to think when she sees herself on the table? Yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot. Next up, we got Finn Balor versus Drew McIntyre. This actually set up more coming out of there. A lot was set up coming out of this match. So the match begins with McIntyre backing Balor into the corner before attacking him with a few strikes. McIntyre drops Balor before stomping on his hand. Balor fights back, and McIntyre quickly drops him. McIntyre then stomps away on a downed Balor. Balor fights back. Balor... Let's see, where was I? Sorry about that. Balor fights back, and McIntyre quickly drops him. McIntyre stomps on a downed Balor and traps him in the corner. Balor recovers, and he drops McIntyre with a knee to his knees. McIntyre corners Balor yet again, landing more strikes. It was a lot of this match was the speed and quickness of Balor versus the brawling and the strength of McIntyre. At one point, Balor goes to the top rope, and McIntyre gets him down by pulling him, pretty much just like pulling him off the top rope and launching him across the ring. McIntyre then stands over him and starts landing some strikes down on him. McIntyre gets Balor up and drops him with a hard Irish whip into the corner. Balor then attempts to fight back, and McIntyre stomps him before propelling him across the ring yet again. Again, like I said, it was the atypical big man versus little man match. McIntyre releases a arm wrench, and Balor hits him with a suplex for a near fall. McIntyre goes back to wrenching the arm on a downed Balor. Balor gets free, and he nails McIntyre with a flying forearm strike. Balor trips up McIntyre before landing a double stomp. McIntyre retreats to the corner, and Balor nails him with a running chop. Balor follows that up by nailing McIntyre with a tornado DDT. Balor hits a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. Balor gets hit with a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker for a near fall. Balor fights back and surprises McIntyre with a roll-up for a 2. Balor then drops McIntyre with an enziguri before going to the top rope. McIntyre gets up and he crotches Balor before climbing to the top rope himself. McIntyre would then nail Balor with a super white noise off the top rope. This looked great. 2 count here. McIntyre then sends Balor to the floor. McIntyre looked to go to the floor as well, and Balor traps him into the ring apron. McIntyre eats a few strikes before knocking Balor to down to the mat. McIntyre picks up Balor before dropping him with a Glasgow kiss. McIntyre would then get back into the ring. This would then lead to somebody from the crowd running in and hitting a super kick out of nowhere on McIntyre at ringside. We would learn moments later that it was Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler then got McIntyre back into the ring. Balor hits a distracted McIntyre with a shotgun dropkick. Balor then hits the coup de grace, pins McIntyre 1, 2, 3. I was shocked. I was very shocked by this outcome. I did not at all expect to see Drew McIntyre lose. So that's twice in 3 weeks? 3 weeks that he's lost. They were supposed to be building this guy up to be something big. And yeah, I mean, you can lose here and there, but it's weird that he's just taking all these L's now. So as we go forward, give me 1 second, guys. All right, reading the chat. Andrew Law, I hope I say this right. Lau. You're not wrong. He said Finn needed the win, and you're not wrong at all. Sean Cook was the Buddy Murphy match. Yes, it was the first match on the kickoff show, the Cruiserweight title match. Knocked down by Knox. I don't know what you're talking about. Are you talking about us read comments? Because I'm reading the chat as much as I can. Yeah, it's weird. We're talking about that after the chairs match, Adrian, about Ziggler and him not being a babyface, or is he a heel, or what's going on, because that plays into something that happens later. So we do get the chairs match between Randy Orton and Rey Mysterio. I didn't like the match. I didn't like the way it was paced. I didn't like the way it was laid out. I just thought it was a meh kind of match. It was meh at the most. Crowd never got into it. So, I mean, quick little synopsis here, because there wasn't too much to it. The match was good. Chairs really didn't help the match at all. They were not needed at all. It was just Orton slowly setting up chairs over and over and over. Like I said, the crowd wasn't really into it too much. They did like seeing Mysterio and Orton, but you can tell that was about it. It was like, oh, hey, two guys that we've seen forever that we like. But Orton at one point set up 4 chairs in the middle of the ring and teased RKOing Mysterio through all of them. Mysterio would then get out of that, and he would get Randy onto the chairs. He would then do a weird Hurricane Rana off the chair. Like, Orton's sitting in the chair. Ray would run at him, hit a Hurricane Rana off the chair. Weird. And it would lead him to... the Hurricane Rana would lead into a victory roll. Pins him 1, 2, 3. All of a sudden the match is over. And I'm like, wait, what? Huh? Match is over? Like, the finish came so quickly that I was confused by it. It was just like, okay, it's over and Ray won. Cool. Now what? You know? It's like, now what do they do? Randy lost. His whole thing of taking out your quote-unquote heroes, he lost to the quote-unquote hero in Rey Mysterio. As far as what Ray does next, you know, there's rumors that he faces Nakamura for the U.S. title and maybe wins it, but they're also doing Nakamura and Rusev, so who really knows? Sean Cook says Ray is getting old now. I mean, a lot of these guys are getting old, but Ray's in like the best shape he's been in like a decade, so it's a plus. It's a plus. So after the chairs match, Charlie Caruso interviewed Finn Balor. Dolph Ziggler would come out. Ziggler said without him, you wouldn't have had a chance to win, and then Ziggler would attack him, basically. So with Ziggler attacking Finn Balor, it essentially leads us to believe that, I guess, Ziggler's a heel again. So he was a 2-week babyface, and now he's a heel again. But that does lead to tomorrow night's Raw, where they did announce that Finn Balor will be taking on Dolph Ziggler. Cool. It's different, though. We haven't seen this match yet. We've seen many Balor McIntyres and Balor Corbins, but we haven't really seen Balor Ziggler. I think this could be a really good match. So then, Rousey versus Jax with the Raw Women's Championship on the line. Match was better than I expected. Ronda actually carried the match to a pretty good match, in my opinion. Match begins with Jax picking up Rousey and tossing her into the corner. Rousey avoids a swing. Rousey avoids a swinging Jax to land a few shots of her own. Jax corners Rousey, and Rousey escapes to hit her with a few kicks. Kicked her right in the side of the head. Nice high kick. Jax goes for a punch, and Rousey counters with an armbar attempt. Jax gets free and nails Rousey with a sit-out powerbomb. Jax picks up Rousey and tosses her across the ring a few times, just ragdolling her. Jax then hits a cornered Rousey with an avalanche, followed by an elbow drop for a near fall. Jax picks up Rousey and sends her into the post. Jax goes to the ring apron, and she crushes Rousey's arm into the turnbuckle. Jax then drops Rousey with a headbutt. Jax goes for a leg drop, and Rousey gets out of the way just in time. She then applies a guillotine choke. She transitions that into a rear naked choke. Rousey drops Jax, and it goes for an armbar as Nia rolls out of the ring. Nia would drag Rousey out of the ring with her and send her into the barricade. Just reading at the chat. Okay. Jax gets Rousey back into the ring for a near fall pin attempt. Jax holds Rousey down while applying a Cobra Clutch. Nia then set up a power bomb, but Rousey takes her down instead with a Hurricane Rana. Jax then misses a charge into the corner and instead nailed the ring post shoulder first. Jax rolls out of the ring as Rousey goes to the top rope. Rousey then hit Jax with a top rope crossbody block and send both crashing to the floor below. Rousey gets Jax into the ring before getting a near fall. Rousey Rousey gets Jax up before landing some strikes, punches here and there. Nia was really selling the strikes good. It wasn't like, Ronda's throwing these worked punches and then Nia's just kind of like, ow, ow, ow. No, Nia was really selling these shots from Ronda Rousey really well. I think better than in the Money in the Bank match, to be honest. At one point, Rousey goes for basically a enziguri jumping knee strike, Superman punch, near fall. Good little combo there. I don't know if Ronda's adding that Superman punch to her moveset. She's done it a couple times now. Rousey goes for a crossbody, and she goes for the crossbody, takes down Nia. Nia rolls through, has trouble rolling through, finally gets to her feet, picks Ronda up, and throws her up onto her shoulders for a Samoan drop. And Michael Cole goes, "Oh, that's her signature move. That's got to be it." And 1, 2, no. Ronda kicks out. Jax then corners Ronda before landing another avalanche. Jax gets Rousey on her shoulders and climbs to the top rope. Looks like she's going to go for a Samoan drop off the middle rope, and Ronda fights out of this. Ronda gets free, nails Jax with a powerbomb off the middle ropes. Rousey sets up an armbar attempt, and Tamina runs in for the distraction. Jax then goes for a punch, and Rousey counters into an armbar. Nia taps in like 3 seconds. There you go. Ronda retains. It was what it was. It was what it was. There was nothing more you can say. I liked the match. There were some things where it was like, could have been better here and there. A little sloppy, but only a couple little spots. Like when Nia tried to do the roll through and she couldn't really get, like she got up to her knees, she got up to her feet, and she still couldn't really get Ronda up. But we're nitpicking here. For a Ronda Nia Jax match, this was pretty good for what one would expect. After the match, Charlie Caruso tries interviewing Nia Jax backstage and just brushes it off. Becky Lynch would walk up and look at her. I forget exactly what she said, but she said something along the lines of, like, "Get my name out of your mouth," and then she kicks her in the gut and punches her and throws her into a big old stack of, equipment boxes. And Becky said on the pre-show, she's like, "I'm going to start taking names. If I see you and I need to get some payback, I'm going to get my payback." So then we get the WWE Championship match, Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles. I felt like this match was a little bit of a letdown. I felt like this match could have been so much better. It was very slowly paced. There was a few matches, including this one, that were kind of slowly paced. I mean, it was good, but at the same time, the crowd did get into it at times. but at the same time, the crowd was like not into it a lot. I don't know. It did tell a good story, though. I'll tell you that. They did do the whole Daniel Bryan with the American-style grappling and AJ Styles with the Japanese-style grappling kind of deal. Match begins with Bryan continuously going out of the ring, just like he did with Brock Lesnar's Survivor Series, mocking AJ. Bryan gets back in the ring, and Styles attacks him with a few strikes. Styles keeps Bryan cornered while landing more strikes. Styles also attacks Bryan with a shoulder thrust into the corner. Styles drops Bryan before kicking him in the spine. Styles misses a dropkick before nailing Bryan with his second attempt. Styles knocks Bryan out of the ring. Styles goes for a dive, and Bryan nails him with a kick on the way out. This is a good spot. At one point, Bryan follows up by nailing Styles with a knee lift to the midsection. Bryan holds Styles down while landing knee strikes to his back. Daniel Bryan applied the crossbow stretch to an injured Styles. Bryan traps Styles into the corner while landing some chops. Styles fights back, and Bryan drops him with a right to the midsection. He just literally grabbed that fist right to the gut, drops him to his knees. I'm reading some of the chat here for a second. No. So with Styles down, Bryan hangs Styles upside down in the Tree of Woe. Bryan also nails Styles with a thrust kick to the midsection, followed up with an uppercut. Bryan knocks Styles out of the ring after landing multiple kicks. Styles gets back in the ring, and he fights back against Bryan. Bryan and Styles exchange some roll-ups until Bryan sends Styles into the corner. Bryan keeps Styles in the corner while landing multiple running drop kicks. Styles recovers and drops a charging Bryan with a clothesline, followed up with a strike of his own. Styles drops Bryan with a spinning clothesline for a 2. Later on in the match, Bryan trapped Styles in the corner while attacking the injured midsection. He worked over that midsection a lot, and I guess the thing was, like, if he works over that midsection, he wouldn't have, I guess, the launch he could off of the ropes. The way they said it was like, his midsection's hurt, so he can't really thrust off of the ropes for that phenomenal forearm. Bryan gets Styles on the top rope and follows him up there. Styles gets off and rolls up Bryan for a near fall. Styles goes for a Styles clash, and Bryan gets free. Styles then applies a single-legged Boston Crab on a down Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan, at one point, for some reason, during this Boston Crab, Styles, slips, and he, loses the grip, and he's got to re-grip it. Bryan gets free and catches Styles in the label lock. He did say on the pre-show, the yes movement is dead. They're no longer the yes kicks. It's no longer the yes lock. You call it the label lock. Styles gets free, and they exchange some pin attempts where Bryan lands a Pele kick. Styles and Bryan have more striking exchanges. Bryan charges at Styles, and Styles nails him with a drop kick. Styles then hits Bryan with a 450 splash for a near fall. Bryan fights back, and Styles catches him with a calf crusher. Great spot here where you think Bryan's going to tap. Bryan's is on the cusp. His hand's trembling. It's up there. He's ready to put that hand down and tap on the mat. And he rolls through it. He rolls somehow, gets his momentum, rolls to the ropes, gets free, rolls out of the ring. Styles follows Bryan to the floor and lands a phenomenal forearm from the barricade. Styles gets back in the ring. Bryan gets back in the ring. Both of them do. Styles goes for a phenomenal forearm and nearly hits the referee. Bryan and Styles exchange small package attempts. So Styles goes for the small package. 1, 2. Bryan rolls it through. 1, 2, 3. Bryan is still WWE champion. Roberto Lopez says ideas for Vince's announcement. The rumor is he's announcing a new draft superstar shakeup. Kevin Nash says, you think it's time for Big E to turn heel? No. I just think it's time for Xavier and Kofi to be the tag team and Big E to go for that U.S. title. So, Daniel Bryan's still a champion. Love it. It was too soon to take that title off of him, especially with basically the great job he's doing as a heel right now. After the match, Charlie Caruso congratulated both Natalya and Ronda Rousey on their victories. She says, Ronda, can I ask you a question? Or can I talk to you about what's next? And she says, you know, Charlotte Flair, payback's a bitch, and I'm the baddest one. She walks off, and we think, okay, we're going to see her later. Maybe, maybe not. Then we get the IC title match. Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose. Commentary killed this match completely. But not only that, the match was kind of boring. And the crowd let them know it as the crowd chanted boring. So at the inception of the match is going on early on. And the whole time, Corey Graves is trying to get out of Renee Young stuff about her husband. You know, what is Dean saying at home about this? How does Dean act at home compared to how he acts on Raw? Dean this, Dean that. You're his wife. He's your husband. What do you have to say about this? And Michael Cole finally goes, Corey, stop. It's getting old. He's like, no. And Renee goes, no, Cole, let him. He's trying to be a journalist and get the facts. And there's nothing I really can say. She was like, he feels. Renee goes, Dean feels that he hasn't changed. He's always been the same since the Shield was started. And that Roman and Seth are the ones that have changed. And Corey would go, oh, you think? She goes, no, that's not an assumption. That's exactly what he's told me. So it was like, they kept that going on like 90, maybe 75% of the match. And it kind of just killed the match for me. Yeah, Seth and Dean boring. Kind of like when you would think an Iron Man match between Seth and Dolph would be good. And that ended up being boring. So the match begins with Ambrose getting into the ropes. Escapes the grasp of Rollins. Rollins then drops him and hits him with a running elbow strike. Rollins corners Ambrose while landing a series of strikes. Rollins hits him with a strike. Rollins will then hit him with a strike of his own. Rollins recovers and nails Ambrose with a springboard clothesline. Ambrose rolls out of the ring, and Rollins follows him out there. Ambrose picks up Rollins and drops him face first on the announce table. Drops him on the announce table. There's a Spanish announce table, and the Spanish announcers just flee. One jumps over the barricade. He's like, I'm getting out of here. Ambrose picks up Rollins and drops him again on the announce table. Ambrose then takes him back into the ring. Rollins gets free of Ambrose's grasp in the ring and drops him with a knee lift to the midsection. Ambrose follows this up by nailing Rollins with his own middle rope elbow strike. Ambrose holds Rollins down while pulling back on his arms. Rollins gets free, and Ambrose drills him with a clothesline for a 2. Ambrose goes to the middle rope and nails Rollins with another elbow strike. Ambrose goes to the top rope this time, and Rollins nails him with a kick that sends him flying off the top rope. Ambrose recovers to hit Rollins with a neck breaker for a 2. Rollins fights back, and Ambrose attacks him with a ton of strikes. Just starts going wild on him. Rollins recovers and sends Ambrose face first into the corner. Ambrose traps Rollins in the corner and lands a dropkick to the knee. Later on in the match, Ambrose and Rollins were in the middle of the ring, just blow after blow after blow. Basically a striking exchange. Ambrose catches Rollins with a glam slam, basically. Ambrose goes to the top rope, and Rollins meets him up there. Ambrose crotches Rollins before landing a top rope clothesline for a near fall. Ambrose misses a running kick, and Rollins nails him with a ripcord knee. Rollins goes to the top rope, and Ambrose gets his knee up during a frog splash attempt. Ambrose goes for the dirty deeds, and Rollins gets him into the corner. Basically counters it. Ambrose goes to the top rope, and Rollins meets him up there to land the super kick Falcon Arrow spot that everybody loves for a 2. Ambrose gets up, and Rollins continuously drops him with forearm after forearm after forearm. And then Dean gets to his feet, and he's like, fist bump, Shield fist bump, let's do it right now, man. And they're like, the announcer's like, what is he doing? They're like, that's the Shield fist bump. What? But Seth wasn't having it, and he slaps him across the face. And then Seth just goes wild, thrust kicks to the face, just starts just all kinds of things. Basically, he lost control. Like Ambrose said, Seth, you're eventually going to lose control. He sends Ambrose to the outside. Rollins hits Ambrose with the powerbomb into the barricade. Rollins gets Ambrose back into the ring and slaps him across the face yet again. But then, Well, he tries to slap him across the face, and Ambrose blocks it. Ambrose slaps him, hits him with the dirty deeds out of nowhere. 1, 2, 3, new Intercontinental Champion. Like, I liked the way the finish played, but most of the match was just, like the fans even said it, boring. And they weren't even listening to commentary. The commentary really killed this match. It overshadowed. Like I said, with the whole Corey Graves, Renee going back and forth. The Corey trying to get the hard facts about Renee's husband and whatnot. But in the end, I liked how Rollins was just like, you know what? I'm just going to throw everything I got at him. He, quote unquote, loses control. And there you go. Ambrose notices it, gets the advantage, hits the dirty deeds, and pins him for becoming the new champion. Think this makes Ambrose a 3-time Intercontinental Champion. Then, go to that main event. Great, great, great match. How many greats can I add to that? I don't even know, because it was that good. Match begins with Asuka nailing Lynch with a dropkick. Asuka drops Flair before attacking her with a series of kicks. Asuka corners both opponents before landing running hip attacks. Lynch traps Asuka in the ropes before landing some knee strikes. Lynch traps Asuka in the corner while landing some more strikes, followed by an exploder suplex. Flair returns and nails Lynch with an exploder of her own. Flair grabs a ladder and brings it into the ring, preventing Asuka from getting into the ring. Lynch grabs a table and Flair manages to hit her with it. Flair sets the table up into the corner before smashing Asuka's face into it. Lynch tries setting up a ladder, and Flair kicks the ladder, knocking her down. Flair goes for a spear, and Asuka counters by landing a code breaker. They did the same thing on SmackDown. Spot don't get old. That's a great spot. The spear into the code breaker. I like it. Lynch goes to the top rope, and Asuka follows her up there. Asuka throws Lynch off the top rope onto a ladder. Asuka sets up a ladder in the middle of the ring. She starts climbing it. Flair stops her and smashes Asuka's face into the ladder. Asuka gets Flair off of the ladder, and Flair drops her. Asuka fights back. She goes to powerbomb Charlotte through a table set up in the corner. She really doesn't go through the table. She breaks the very, very tip of the bottom of the table, and her head just whipped right onto the table. And you see, I think it was a trainer, not even a referee, quickly. No, it might have been a ref. Quickly went and checked on Charlotte because her head whipped hard, the back of her head on that table. Going forward, Asuka climbed the ladder, and Becky returns to dropkick her off of it. Lynch starts climbing the ladder, and Asuka knocks her off of it. Asuka then uses a hip attack to knock Lynch to the floor. Flair grabs a chair, and she attacked Asuka with it. Flair goes to the top rope as she takes everybody out with a big old moonsault. Flair grabs another table and sets it up at ringside. Lynch finds a chair and attacks both opponents. Flair returns, and she kicks the chair out of Lynch's hands. Flair then throws a dazed Becky into the barricade. Flair clears off the announce table. At one point, she puts Asuka onto it. Lynch returns as she attacks Flair from behind with multiple chair shots. Lynch grabs a huge, 20-foot ladder and sets it up next to the table. Lynch then puts both opponents on the announce table. Becky climbs to the top of the ladder and leaps off, just basically crashing everybody through the table. Kind of like the spot they did at Evolution. And I think one of the announcers even said, that's a callback to Evolution. That's shades of Evolution, their match that they had then with Charlotte and Becky. So, all three women are down. Asuka gets to her feet at one point. Asuka gets back into the ring, starts climbing a ladder. Becky gets back into the ring. She climbs the ladder as well. The two exchange at the top of the ladder. Flair returns with a kendo stick as she attacks both women with it. Flair also clears the ring of the competitors. Flair climbs the ladder as she gets knocked down with a kendo stick shot from Becky. Becky then hits Flair with an exploder suplex into the barricade. Asuka grabs a kendo stick and she starts attacking Lynch with it. She hit Becky across the back and the shoulder and the arm about 20 times. That's gotta hurt. Here's the thing. With these kendo stick shots hurt a lot harder than you think, and there's no payoff from it because a lot of the times, I think it was a Monday. No, Tuesday, my bad. Tuesday on SmackDown. Charlotte took all these kendo stick shots. Cool. We didn't see the damage done. But if you watched Mixed Match Challenge, you saw at the very beginning, Charlotte's walking away, and she's got all these bruises and cuts from the kendo stick, but they never showed that on SmackDown. So if you didn't watch Mixed Match Challenge, you didn't see any of that on SmackDown. That could have showed how brutal these kendo stick shots are going into this match at TLC. Anyways, so Asuka grabbed the kendo stick and she starts attacking Lynch with it. Flair returns and spears Asuka through the barricade over there at the Timekeeper's area. Lynch starts climbing the ladder and Flair returns in the ring to knock her down. Flair and Lynch have a striking exchange in the middle of the ring. Lynch then throws Flair face first into a ladder. Lynch mounts a downed Flair and attacks her with a butt ton of strikes. She starts unloading. Lynch and Flair continue their battle on the arena floor. Flair eventually drops Lynch by sending her into the announce table. Flair sets up Lynch on a table and climbs to the top rope. Charlotte then basically does like a front roll off the top rope to the outside through the table. Basically the same spot they did kind of at Evolution, but this time instead of the table and Becky being in the ring, the table and Becky were outside of the ring, so they ramped it up a little bit. Where was I? Flair set up, Flair climbed the top rope. The duo. This would then lead to Asuka back into the ring, climbing up the ladder. Flair climbs the ladder as well, meets her at the top, stops her from grabbing the title. The duo exchanges strikes while Lynch sets up a second ladder next to them. Lynch climbs the ladder as Asuka gets knocked off. Lynch and Flair are then battling atop of a ladder, striking each other, just going to town. When all of a sudden Ronda Rousey comes down. Ronda Rousey would come down and knock down the ladder that had both Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch on it. Becky and Charlotte would crash and burn all the way to the floor below outside of the ring. This would then allow Asuka to climb the other ladder still set up in the ring. With no opponents to stop her, she would grab the SmackDown Live Women's Championship and become the new champion. So there we have it, guys. Asuka, yes, Asuka is the new SmackDown Live Women's Champion. Overall, there were some matches that I thought were okay, some matches I thought were good, and some matches that I really enjoyed. Overall, I did like TLC, and now I want to hear from you guys. Call into the show, 559-475-8473, 559-475-8473. While we wait for some calls to come in, we will read the chat. Let me know what you guys thought of TLC. Roberto Lopez says, fabulous, Fabulous. Woken King Slender asks, did Ronda turn heel? I mean, maybe. Just maybe. Which is a good thing. Because if you ever want to do the horsewomen versus horsewomen, you either need to have, the women of NXT turn babyface or Ronda turn heel. So if Ronda's turned heel, then maybe, just maybe, you can do it. I don't know. Daryl McGee says it's about time WWE did something positive with Asuka. Mark Brown says it took too long for Asuka to get the title. Very true. But with that, let's take a call. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hey, Tim. What's up?
Not much. What do you think of TLC?
Oh, I thought it was pretty good. I thought the best match of the night was the women's match.
For sure.
For the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championship. But behind that, I'd like to know what you think was the best match behind that.
I mean, I really enjoyed that match for sure. That was the best match of the night. And I really enjoyed the triple threat for the SmackDown Live Tag titles.
I kind of liked the Nia Jax match, actually. I thought it was good because Rousey's really improving in the ring.
I would agree. For what you would have expected, it overachieved.
Yeah. All right, well, thanks for taking my call and have a good night.
All right, thanks for the call and have a great night. All right, let's take another call here. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hello?
Hello? What's going on?
Oh, yes. What do you think of Asuka winning the title?
Overdue. Long overdue.
Overdue?
I think Asuka should have won the title at WrestleMania. But I mean, the whole thing they did with Carmella kind of prevented that. The plan they had with Carmella to be the champion. But I think now that you have the title on Asuka, it opens it up for new matchups to happen on SmackDown. And it also leaves people wondering what can happen next with Charlotte, Ronda, and Becky. If Becky or Charlotte were the champion, it would kind of give away which of them can go after Ronda. But with them both not being the champion, now you're going to question who goes after Ronda at Rumble, who gets Ronda at WrestleMania. Since neither are champion, they can both try to take her title.
Thank you. Thank you.
Not a problem.
Thank you for asking my question. You have a good night.
Have a good night yourself. Thanks for the call.
Thanks.
All right, take another call here. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on? Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hey.
What's going on? What's up?
Hey, man. All right. First, I want to say great show. And also, I have only two qualms about the whole pay-per-view.
Go for it.
Number one, this has to do with the San Jose crowd.
Okay.
I felt, even though the Seth Rollins Dean, their match was somewhat okay, I do feel like the San Jose crowd was a little disrespectful when they said this is boring. Like, Seth and Dean are never boring.
Here's the thing that I can maybe justify it. When you think of a Seth Rollins match, especially if he was going to go in there with Dean Ambrose, I would have expected the pacing to be a lot quicker. I would have thought that it would have been a quicker paced match. And so the crowd there may have felt that it was like one of those slow, methodical, really, what's the word I'm looking for? Really planned out matches. So maybe that's what they were thinking. They were looking for more, the dives, more of the high spots that Seth usually goes for and stuff like that. They probably wanted more carnage too, based off of the attack that Dean did, essentially setting up this feud.
Yeah, but I feel like that it needs to be that slow because think about it. Like their feud was deep. Like go back to Shawn and Triple H back in like early 05, 06.
Right.
Their matches were kind of slow and methodical because they were deep. They were really like brothers. They've been through war. So whenever you have matches like that, they need to be slow and methodical. You don't want it to just be back and forth and too quick because those matches are kind of for people that don't really have that type of deep-rooted tension.
And let me add one more thing to this. Who says this is the end of the feud? If this is only the beginning of the feud, they're not going to go and throw it all out there the first match. If they're going to go 2-3 matches, they're going to go out there and try to make the final match, the one that they know is their last match of this program, the best one. So this was basically possibly the setup for a 2-3 match program.
Yeah, and I feel like it's only going to get a little bit slower, but I think it's going to get way, way better.
Exactly.
It's only going to get. Yeah, and my second thing would probably the biggest thing that just annoys me is the announcers. Like, I don't know if you saw this, but during the Asuka, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch match, when Charlotte and Becky were going at it and Charlotte got thrown on the announce table, the literal announcer jumped over the barricade, and I put up a video saying that this needs to stop. Like, where are these announcers going? Like, ain't nothing they can run from. And it's just something that I feel is a little bit corny because back in, the early 2005, 2006, you didn't see announcers jump away from, like, the action crazy. You probably saw them move out of the way, let it happen. But they got them jumping over barricades now. Like, that's kind of a little bit corny to me.
Well, excuse me. I think that was it was the Spanish announcer. And it's not like that was a planned spot or anything. I think it was just on the fly. He was like, oh, crap, I got to get out of the way. And he was like just standing right next to the barricade, and there was nowhere for him to move. So I think maybe that was it. It was just a reaction of, I got to get out of the way, and this is the only thing I can do.
Yeah, but it definitely made me laugh. All right, man. Yeah. Appreciate the conversation. Thanks for the call.
Right. Thanks for the call. Have a great night. Derek Bochek says, wasn't I supposed to be there? Yes, I was. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it since I got a house full of sick people I got to take care of. Let's take another call. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, man? I just want to say your podcast is awesome. And I have just one question.
Sure.
Where the heck is the U.S. title? Was this like the third pay-per-view it's not been defended on?
Well, Survivor Series doesn't count as far as titles being on the line, though.
That's true.
But I get your point, though. You're not wrong.
I know Nakamura from what I heard, he's trying to like slow it down a little bit. 'Cause he's getting older. But
Right.
his heel character is great. He should, I don't know, have Ray face him or Andrade or somebody. I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, they're setting up the feud with Rusev. Didn't Rusev pin him on SmackDown? So you would have thought that would have led to some sort of a match at TLC, but TLC already had 12 matches, so I don't know. Maybe they do it on SmackDown?
Maybe, or maybe something at the Rumble. I'm not sure.
Yeah. It was weird. It was weird, though, that the title's barely defended.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll let you go. You have a good night, man.
All right, thanks for the call. Have a great night. Before we take some more calls, we got some Super Chat donations. Dragon Ball Radiant says, for $1.99 Super Chat donation, Oscar versus Nikki Cross at Mania, please. I think it was, they had a false count anywhere? No. They had some sort of a hardcore style match on NXT that was great. Kristen McDutt, $2 Super Chat donation. I think Seth and Becky will win the Rumbles. Very good predictions there. Very good predictions. Let's take another call. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on? Caller, you're on the air. What's going on? How's it going?
Hey, just wanted to see. I don't know if I slept through TLC, but what happened to Lars Sullivan?
I don't know when he's supposed to come up. It was weird, though, because in his promo package that they aired Monday, Tuesday, and tonight, he says something about the destruction that happens at TLC is not going to be as bad as what I do. So I don't know. Some people took that as he was going to be at TLC, but I think what that meant was in all these hardcore gimmick matches, there's going to be a lot of, people getting hit with ladders and chairs, but that's nothing compared to what he's going to do to whatever roster he shows up on. So I assume maybe he comes this week.
That's pretty lame. Anyways, that was a pretty good match. Asuka and Charlotte and Becky Lynch.
Yeah, I loved it.
Hey, thank you very much, man.
All right. Thanks for the call. Have a great night.
You too.
The underdog, Yuzakami, I don't even know how to say that. Yuzakaki says it was a last woman standing match. Correct. Take another call. Caller, on the air. What's going on?
Hey, just to tell you that what I can think of TLC is like, is an amazing. It wasn't like they have amazing finishes. Like for example, like Seth and Dean, good for them. Like great finish, and then of course Becky Lynch, like after winning this SmackDown Women's Champion, is great. It was great. It was FABLUS. When it comes to the finishes, but the matches were like sort of slow. It was like not quite the thing. It was like that.
Right, I would agree. I said the same thing that a lot of the matches tonight did seem like they were slowly paced. Not like they were trying to go long or anything, but they were more like the slower paced out matches, like in the Seth Rollins Dean Ambrose match, like in the Daniel Bryan AJ Styles match. Both were good matches. But they were so slow.
Yeah.
They were so slow. The crowd never really got into them.
Yeah, it was great. It was like it was great finishes, but it was bad. But there was a thing I want to talk about you. It was like maybe I will do sort of a baddest fantasy booking right here in your show.
Sure.
Like what should I do? What should I do with a Becky and that sort of stuff? It's like Vince announces along with the draft, like to announce that. On the Royal Rumble, we're going to have a Becky. We're going to have Ronda Rousey versus Asuka where the winner of the match becomes the undisputed champion of the women's division. Like the two matches will be there. At the Royal Rumble, we're going to have like sort of like they should do that match, like a very good match between two submission-based wrestlers like Ronda Rousey and Asuka, like and make them sort of like a violent match. But not so more balanced, like no blood because it's PG, of course. But the thing right there is like create sort of an hour on Asuka and or Rousey, like it's going to be a great match. And it's amazing. Then we're going to have 15 minutes and then boom, out of nowhere, Charlotte comes in and she should have twice attacked Charlotte, but instead goes against Asuka by accident and makes Wanda go for the pin and finally become the undisputed champion. So, and then at a Royal Rumble, in the Female Royal Rumble, Becky Lynch wins the match. And then at WrestleMania, you build up two big matches at WrestleMania. They should do Charlotte versus Asuka in sort of a last woman's standing match in which Asuka tries to get revenge for that cost of against Charlotte for costing her the title. And then you have Becky Lynch go against Ronda Rousey to prove her she is the man in WWE. That's my fantasy booking of my little road to the WrestleMania.
All right, I want to say thank you for the call. And the issue with that is you can't have just one women's champion. You have to have a women's champion on Raw, and you have to have a women's champion on SmackDown. You can't just go, oh, well, we're going to go to Royal Rumble, and we're going to unify the titles. Why? You can't do that. I think Vince's announcement tomorrow is going to be a draft where they're going to switch some people around, shake some things up, but they're not going to unify championships. They're not going to. They tried to do that when they did the first draft, the first brand split back in 2002, and it didn't work. They had to have champions on either brand. So, I don't know. Let's take another call. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Tim?
How's it going?
It's not going bad. Just had a few notes about the pay-per-view tonight.
Okay.
I think I heard somebody say that the crowd wasn't into a lot of the show, and I don't think it was a lot of the crowd's fault, because when you really look at the show, what do we get that we weren't expecting or we weren't predicting?
True, very true.
We got the crowd. First off, the mixed match challenge bullcrap should have been on the pre-show. I had somebody on Twitter try to tell me, oh, it's on the main show because it has major implications for the Royal Rumble. If a joke spot in the Royal Rumble is a major implication, I have no words.
I can tell you why it was on the main. I can tell you exactly why it was on the main card. Here's the thing. So the pre-show is on the WWE Network, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. They use the pre-show on all those different platforms to say, hey, go to the WWE Network. It's free to order TLC tonight. You can see the whole show. Well, what they did was this first match on the pay-per-view was also live on Facebook Watch on the Mixed Match Challenge page. So essentially, that's why you heard Michael Cole at the end of the Mixed Match Challenge finals match go, all right, now if you want to continue watching TLC tonight, go over to the WWE Network, order it, it's free, come and watch. So that's why the match was on the main card, because you already had the pre-show on a number of different platforms, so then you can actually say, hey, here's a free match on our main card you can watch on Facebook Watch. Now come to the network to watch the rest.
All right. I guess I could see that from a business standpoint. Right. It was just kind of weird to me, because for me it was pretty much a nothing match. Like, a lot of the mixed match challenge stuff is really joke heavy and whatnot, and I didn't think that really had a place on the main card too much. And as far as the Seth and Dean match, I can't disagree with the crowd when they started chanting this is boring. I get it, it's Seth and Dean, but this is a blood feud.
Right. You
cannot start the first match in a blood feud with a friggin' hammerlock. You really cannot. Yes, okay, if you want to have a slower match, you can do that in the middle. You got to, this is a blood feud. They've been going at each other for weeks. You got to start that match hot.
And also
they got to be brawling from the outset.
And also,
I personally thought it should have been a ladder match anyway. I don't know why the hell Bobby Trashley and Elias needed a ladder match, but whatever.
Also, think about this: the crowd didn't like the match. They didn't have to hear the bad commentary either.
Yeah, the commentary was horrible.
Yeah, Corey Graves grilling.
I was sitting there. I'm like, Corey, stop.
Michael Cole even told him to stop. It just got so annoying.
Serious, right before Michael Cole said it, I said out loud, "Corey, stop!" And then I hear Michael Cole say it, and I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm agreeing with Michael Cole. What is happening?" But yeah, man. The crowd was not into anything except every time Becky was on screen, and the main event. That was it. And honestly, I can't say I blame them. Like it was just such a lackluster show in my opinion. And I also don't know why every time there's a problem in WWE and things aren't going the way they're quote unquote supposed to, Vince's solution is, okay, I've got to show up. they must want to see me. All right, guys, I'm coming. Like,
right? He thinks he's a ratings grabber.
And I get it, but like a lot of I watch a lot of other YouTube channels as well as far as wrestling, and everyone's saying, listen, that crowd cannot let Vince off the hook. They gotta let him have it. They gotta let him know.
Right.
Blah blah blah. But if we're being real, the crowd's not gonna do that. As soon as Vince's music hits, they're gonna pop for that.
They're gonna sing the whole time.
Then when he pops out of the curtain like he always does, like he likes to do, like, surprise, I'm here, guys. They're gonna pop for that, and they're gonna be singing along to No Chance in Hell.
Yep.
Like, they're not gonna let him off the hook at all. I'm sorry, they are gonna let him completely off the hook.
Yeah.
But then if Raw is crap, those are the same people that are gonna run to Twitter and say,
exactly,
this is the problem with WWE, blah blah blah, and this and that. Okay, but you had your chance to voice your opinion, and you were singing No Chance in Hell. So why are you talking? Like,
no,
like
you're 100% right
the one
on
thing
that.
I don't get. That's the one thing I don't get. But I'm not going to take up too much more time. Thank you for taking my call, man.
All right, thanks for the call.
It.
Have a great night.
All right, man. You too.
All right, take a couple more calls here before we wrap it up. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hello?
Hello, caller. What's going on?
What's up, Tim and Nick?
Just Tim, no Nick tonight.
Oh, okay. Man, I'm hearing the pay-per-view was awesome today.
It was okay. I mean, if I had to rate it, I'd give it like a 7 or 7.5.
Yeah, true. But the great thing I'm happy about is that Asuka finally got her title.
Oh, yeah. Long overdue.
Man, true. Now I'm just waiting for like WrestleMania to see who Asuka faces. But unless Becky gets it back, I'm guessing Charlotte will probably face her at WrestleMania. What do you think?
I think they're going to go Becky winning the Rumble, Becky challenging Ronda, and then maybe they can do Asuka Charlotte again. I don't think they should do the same match 2 years in a row, but I mean, it could be a good match. It was good this year at WrestleMania, so why not?
Yeah, that, and I was thinking maybe they could do probably the 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsewomen, but they got Shayna Baszler as champion now.
Plenty of time for her to drop that title before WrestleMania if they want to do it then. But I think if they're going to do a big women's match at Mania, and if the rumor's true that they want Ronda Rousey to main event, it's got to be a singles match. It's got to be.
Yeah. And then I hear Dean Ambrose got the title again.
Correct.
So now what happens at Royal Rumble and WrestleMania? Will Steph be in the Royal Rumble, or will he face Dean Ambrose again at the Royal Rumble?
We've seen people pull double duty at the Royal Rumble. We've seen guys have title matches at the Rumble and then jump in the Royal Rumble. I mean, Roman Reigns a couple of years ago faced Kevin Owens for the title, lost, jumped in at number 30 in the Royal Rumble. There you go. Guys can do double duty.
Yeah, that is true too. You're right.
But I want to say thanks for the call and have a great night.
You too.
Just looking at the chat here. Mark Brown says, I'm giving it a 5. Ooh, you really did not like this show. Austin Blankenship says he gave it an 8 out of 10. Mark Brown also says Corey just needs to stop complaining about Corbin losing. Oh, yeah, it's his buddy. He was probably getting some preferential treatment. But we'll go a couple more minutes here if you guys do want to call in. 559-475-8473. Take a call here. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hey, Tim, what's going on, man?
Not much. How's it going?
Going good. Just a quick question. Since who do you think the Bar should feud with next? Honestly, Sanity, they're not pushing them. I haven't seen the Good Brothers in a while, so who do they feud with next? If we don't want to see the same thing over and over again.
Trying to think of who's on SmackDown. It's a tough one. I think, here's what I think. Vince is going to announce a superstar shakeup tomorrow, and they're going to move some tag teams around because I think that's what they need to do. So maybe they can move. Oh, I don't even know. Maybe they can move over.
The Revival.
That's what I was thinking, but that's two heel teams. But it is something different, and I think those two teams can really work well together.
You guys see that because think about it. The tag team, be honest with you, Raw tag team division sucks. SmackDown's is better. Let's be real here.
That's true. Very true.
So last thing, I'm like everybody else. I'm happy for Asuka. She's one of the best wrestlers on the planet, and I'm glad she got the title.
Same here.
All right. Thanks for taking my call. Oh, dude, I hope your daughter gets better, bro.
Oh, yeah, she's sleeping now, so I think she'll be fine tomorrow. Hopefully, it's just a 24-hour thing. But thanks.
No problem. Keep the stream going, man. Love the content, bro. Keep it going. You and Tim both. You and Nick both. Keep it going, bro.
Have a good night. Thanks.
Yep.
All right. Looking at the chat, Mark Brown says, turn Revival face. I mean, they kind of did when they cut that promo on the Lucha House Party saying, hey, this ain't fair that we have to work handicap matches when they're supposed to be tag team matches. Chris Jones says, who are your top choices for GM? I mean, maybe they can go Kurt. Maybe they go not Alicia Fox, Alexa Bliss. Crypt6 says they need to change up the writers as well. It's not that, though. The writers write what they're told to write. They're given like a format. They're like, okay, here's some ideas. Script it out. Give it to Vince, and then Vince changes it. It's like they write all this stuff, and Vince ends up changing it anyways. Pothead Joe says, what can tomorrow be with Vince? A lot of people are saying it might be a superstar shakeup kind of deal. Announces a draft. Maybe Vince also announces where Lars Sullivan's going. Craig Jacobson says Vince will become GM tomorrow. I don't see Vince becoming I don't think Vince will become a regular on-screen character. I couldn't get that out. Jessica Street said, did I hear Renee cheer for Seth at one point? I thought I heard something or her saying something about Seth's gonna win this or something, but I don't know if it was her cheering for Seth. Because there was also a point where I think it was Michael Cole said something about Seth coming over for dinner. I don't know. The commentary in that match was kind of all over the place. MX Gaming says, will R-Truth really be number 30? I think he'll show up in the Women's Rumble. Try to take Carmella's spot by accident. Let's take another call here. Do 2 more calls. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hey, Tim. How you doing?
Pretty good. Yourself?
I'm doing good. Are you going to be at SmackDown on Tuesday?
Possibly. I'm looking into it.
Nice. Well, I'll be there, and I'm
awesome.
Really hoping that whatever Vince does on Monday affects something on SmackDown because, like, I'm really looking forward to the show. I'm really looking forward to going and seeing Becky at Cricket.
Yeah.
And I just want something different. Like, I don't want it to be the same old SmackDown, you know?
Very true. And remember, for everybody going to Raw tomorrow in Sacramento and SmackDown in Fresno, they're actually filming 2 shows both nights. They're going to film this week's show live, and then they're going to film next week's shows for Christmas Eve and Christmas, since they're not going to have the workers work Christmas Eve and Christmas. So you're going to get 2 shows for the price of 1.
At Fresno?
Yes, because they're going to film 2 SmackDowns.
Oh, wow, nice.
Yeah, because they're not working Christmas, so they got to film 2 shows to make up for the next week they're not going to be working.
Right. Oh, okay. That's going to be cool.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for the call. Have a great night.
You too.
All right. We'll do one final call here. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hey, Tim. What's up?
Not much. How's it going? What'd you think of TLC?
I thought it was okay, I guess. It was all right. I just got a quick question.
Sure.
Tomorrow, so like everyone thinks like it's a shakeup, right? A shakeup's gonna happen. Vince is gonna announce a shakeup. What do you think like he can announce that's not a shakeup? You know what I mean? Because like I feel like a shakeup is like the same thing at this point, you know?
I mean, the only thing I could think of, because they said Vince is going to come. The tweet that they announced, they didn't say anything else other than Vince McMahon will be returning on Raw to shake things up. So that does lead me to believe that there's going to be like some sort of a draft. According to Mike Johnson of PW Insider, he said he spoke with several wrestlers in the WWE, and they're all under the impression that another draft is coming and guys and girls are going to be switching brands. Now, if he was to announce something different, the shakeup could be new authority figures on Raw. Because, Corbin's no longer the GM, so they got to announce a new general manager on Raw. Maybe he says Stephanie's got to be around more full-time to take control of her show since all of her general managers haven't been doing well. Maybe they announce that they're going to be bringing in more people.
I was just curious.
Maybe they're going to announce that they're going to do more with NXT as far as making it more comparable to the main roster brands, because Triple H says that all the time. NXT, yes, it's developmental, but it should be treated just as equally as both Raw and SmackDown. So maybe they're going to say something along those lines.
Of course.
And say, hey, if guys go back to NXT, it's not a demotion. It's just a lateral move. I don't know. I think it's a draft.
Yeah, I'm just curious to like if it's not a shakeup, like what can he possibly announce that'll Raw's a must-watch show? You know what I mean? Yeah, I was just curious to see what you thought about that. Anyways, thank you for taking my call.
All right, thank you, and have a great night. With that, we are going to wrap things up here, guys. Thank you for joining me on this TLC review and recap show. You can find us right here on YouTube, on Facebook, facebook.com/Pro Wrestling ULTD, on Twitter @TimmyBuddy. Of course, we're on Instagram. You can follow me @TimmyBuddy. And follow our friends over at Fightful, @Fightful Online, @Fightful Wrestling, @Fightful MMA, @Fightful Boxing, or just go to Fightful.com. We've got a lot of cool information there if you love boxing, MMA, and pro wrestling, because, we only give you the pro wrestling, but they'll give you everything in combat sports. We'll be live again tomorrow night following Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw should be an interesting show, and I do want to let you guys know, be warned now. Coming out of Monday, coming out of Tuesday, there's going to be a lot of spoilers since they're supposedly supposed to be filming the following week's shows as well in conjunction with this week's live shows. So if you don't want to be spoiled, try to stay away for a week on social. I don't know. But I'm just going to let you guys know now. Coming out of this week's Raw, coming out of this week's SmackDown, we're supposed to be filming 2 shows. So there's going to be a bunch of spoilers for the Christmas Eve and the Christmas Day show as well. Well, again, we'll see you tomorrow after SmackDown. No, after Raw. I'm getting my days mixed up. We'll see you tomorrow after Raw. Have a good night, guys.